Hello everyone, Proxy here, bringing you guys the first video in our 5-episode series on interviewing the players of Crossfire. Now, today we start ourselves off with a very humble person, the owner of Crossfire, Frostbyte. Introduce yourself, man.
Hello, my name is Frostbyte, and I'm a professional Valorant player for Crossfire Esports.
Absolutely. And this journey we're going on right now is still fresh, uh, but
Absolutely.
but I would say that there's so much optimism going around right now within our team and within the organization. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I think we have a really great dynamic with all our players, and I think we mesh really well, and I think we have a really good potential to grow as a team.
Yeah, and I see that when watching the team scrims and hearing you guys talk during the team meetings and the plans that we're making for the future of Crossfire. Now, I wanted to start off asking you, how did you get into esports?
I got into esports when I was around 13. I had just built my first PC, and I really got into CS:GO. For my first game. And as I continued to progress, I found esports and I fell in love with it. And I wanted to create a team, and I pursued that for a couple of years. Didn't pan out the way I would have liked. And then Valorant had released, and so I thought I'd give it a try. And it's taken me to some really good places, and I've met some amazing people along the way.
Of course, and so tying that in to CounterStrike, as an esports game itself, how do you think the skills from Counter Strike translated over to Valorant?
I think they translated over well. A lot of the people that I've known in and that I still know in the Valorant scene have were a lot of competitive CS:GO players, and I think there's some clashing dynamics with the games, but I think overall the skill transfers over really well with across games.
Of course, and I think a big portion of the CS:GO community in general has transferred over uh, for several different reasons, whether it's lack of love from Valve or the competitive scene in general being stagnant. Um, but tying into that, um, how involved were you in esports over the last year or two?
I faded out of the esports scene a little while after CS:GO had kind of taken a hit, and I didn't get super involved. I watched some pro games. I kept an eye on I kept an eye on everything that was happening, but and then when Valorant came out, I jumped right back into it. I was really excited to make a comeback in the esports scene and try to become one of the best Valorant players.
Yeah, of course, and I see the talent there with you and every other player going on right now within our team. When I ask you this, where do you think esports is headed for Valorant?
I think Valorant has a really exciting future in esports. It's already been about a year since the closed beta launched, and there's already massive tournaments that are running with big team names like Cloud9 and Sentinels and even Liquid in the EU scene joining in for the Valorant competitive scene after only a year. And I feel like as the game grows and as new players come in and new teams, I think it has a really good future for esports.
Yeah, of course. I think the Valorant community is so passionate, and I think the scariest parts about a new IP was if, for especially for esports players, is if that would translate well carrying over, and I think it really has. I think a lot of people at the start were kind of hesitant to transfer over to Valorant just because they weren't sure where the competitive scene was heading. But now you see major stars from like from CS:GO or even from Overwatch. I've seen a lot of pro Overwatch players transferring over to Valorant. But on that, I would like to ask you: is there any other particular part of Valorant itself that drew you in, aside from maybe the potential, but rather was there a specific trailer or gameplay scene you found, or even a pro player that inspired you to make that transfer?
Yeah, definitely. When I first saw the trailer for Valorant, I wasn't super interested in it at first, but then as
Hmm.
I saw how many people in the CS:GO community were interested in it and saw the potential in it, I was like I kind of looked into it a little bit more, and seeing those abilities being used alongside when the alpha launched, seeing those abilities used alongside the CS:GO and the competitive aspect of the game, it brings a whole new face to what the game could become. And it really drew me in, and I really wanted to try it, and I saw a lot of potential in it.
Yeah, and I think that that's great to see, and gives confidence in the game. Now, transferring over from that about the esports organization that we're creating, Crossfire. Tell me a little bit of why you wanted to get into the esports community and be a part of an esports org right off the bat.
There's a lot of reasons. After my experience with CS:GO, it kind of I had a team and it didn't pan out quite right, and so as I was looking before I created Crossfire, I was looking for teams to join, and it never quite panned out. The teammates I would get would just we wouldn't really be on the same page with a lot of stuff, and I clashed with the teammates that were already currently there. And after a while, I was talking to one of my close friends who's now on the team, and he brought up maybe we should create a team, and I thought it was an amazing idea. Then we can it's an amazing idea. We can choose our own players. We have our own direction that we can take,
Freedom.
and we have a lot more, yeah, a lot more freedom. We have a lot more control over the what happens and where the team goes.
Of course. What are your long term aspirations for Crossfire?
I would love for Crossfire to start competing in some of the major league tournaments, such as Valorant Champions tournament coming up in August. I would love for us to be a part of that, and I would love to see Crossfire grow as a organization as well, connecting with other games, with other players, recruiting other rosters, and just expanding our horizons to a lot more than just Valorant itself.
Of course, and I think as the manager for Crossfire, I think another big thing for us is to have a sense of community and bring viewers like you
Absolutely.
watching in and just create an environment that people want to root for our players, root for our teams to win. Have people lining up outside of lands, just waiting to get in to root for Crossfire, and I'm very optimistic and very excited about the future there. But let's switch off and get more particular, more detailed about you, Frost.
Of course.
What is?
Um,
Oh, sorry. You mind if I
oh,
go?
sorry. No, yeah, you go. You go first.
What's your training regimen like? When you wake up, what's the
Um,
first thing you do when you start booting up your PC, or even
my
before that?
training regiment is it's fairly simple. When I wake up, I'll hop on my computer, I'll check Twitter, I'll check Discord, check all my socials, make sure everything's all square. And then I usually hop on to just any game that I really see that just kind of catches my eye at first, whether that's a game like Osu, which is a rhythm game, or whether that's Call of Duty or anything along those lines, just something to wake me up. And then after I'm awake and I'm paying more attention and just more aware, I usually hop into an aim trainer, something like Aim Labs or Kovacs, and do my aim training regiment there. And then after that, I'll hop onto Valorant, play some deathmatch, maybe an unrated or two, and then hop into comp, whether with duo or solo queue. And yeah, it's a pretty simple regimen to stick to. It's not too demanding, and I switch it around a lot, just kind of fit what I'm feeling that day.
Okay. And for aspiring competitive players in the esports community, how important would you say a training regimen is?
I'd say it's very important. If you're a player who wants to make a name for yourself in esports and wants to pursue esports as a career option, I think you definitely need to put in that 110%. Just put in more work than those other players that you play with in competitive in ranked games with. They play for fun, they play to climb the ranks, but if you put in that extra work, that extra training, that'll just separate you completely from the average player, and that's what's going to make you a professional player.
Of course, I think I can't agree more with you there. You know, it's all about routine. It's about going through the same thing, creating a rhythm, creating a sense of structure. And I think seeing Crossfire already grow and expand, and seeing how you guys practice, get warms up, the scrims you're going in on a daily basis, the footage you're reviewing, everything like that just shows repetition, structure, which is honestly great for an esports team. But I have to ask you, how do you stay motivated in the game, even during its toughest times? Do you ever get bored of Valorant, or even think about switching games? Can you speak a little bit on that?
Definitely. I've thought about switching games a handful of times, but I always seem to come back to Valorant. The competitive aspect to it and the just the play style of the game is so much different. So when you switch off of it, it's hard not to think about it and
Mm.
think, what could I be doing in Valorant? And a lot of what helps me stay motivated is just thinking about what could come from me playing just that extra half hour, that one extra game, the two extra scrims that we play with the team. What could come out of that, and what can we drive for? I'll set a goal for myself and for the team, and just towards that, for just push as hard as we can to to get that goal, and to maintain a sense of community and a sense of competitiveness amongst the team, to drive us forward. And it keeps us all very motivated, and continues to help us grow as a team.
Yeah, of course. I couldn't have said it better. Uh, when we sit there, I want to ask you personally, what are your long term aspirations in esports? Set Crossfire aside, set the team aside. What are your aspirations and your goals for the future of esports, and like, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
My personal aspirations would definitely be I want to become one of the top players. You see a lot of players like Wardell on TSM, or Tens, who's currently on Sentinels, and you think of them as the top players in Valorant. You see them as these untouchable gods almost. And I strive to get to that point where I'm one of the faces of the game. I'm not just a pro player on a team. I'm one of the I'm something that makes the game what it is.
Of course, and I have nothing but optimism and strong feelings that you're gonna get there, Frost. And you put in the work, you put in the time, and you even made sacrifices recently to make sure that you can achieve those goals. So nothing but proud over here, as your guys' manager. Now I wanna get a little fun here. I wanna talk about, if you could 1v1 any pro player, who would it be right now?
If I could 1v1 any pro player, I think I would probably have to go with somebody. I think I'd probably have to go with Tens. He's as cliche as it sounds, he's the absolute most mechanically skilled player there is in the game at the moment. And I think I could learn so much just even off of 1v1 from somebody like him. I think there's so much to learn from that. How to adapt to play styles, and just how to go against somebody of his level, somebody of his stature. It'd be such a learning experience to be able to play with somebody like him.
Of course, yeah. And as you, as being someone that plays Jet quite frequently, seeing another Jet and seeing how he holds it, because he's an absolutely incredible player, especially his Jet.
Yeah.
Seeing some of the picks that he gets with his ult, and even the util being used with his movement, which is incredible. What for the game of Valorant, what would you say is one part of the game that's the most broken?
The most broken. I'd have to go with the probably the shotguns at the moment. They've tried to make countless
Oh
nerfs, and
yeah,
they've
the
tried to fix
judge.
them over and over again. But yeah, especially the judge, the range of the pellets, the accuracy from long range. It's so it's a gun that you can't go wrong with. Sitting in corners, or whether you're entry fragging onto a side of bind, it doesn't matter where you are or what situation you're in. Somehow the judge can get you out of that situation with absolute ease.
Yeah, absolutely. I think shotguns have a role in the game, but I do think right now they are in a finicky spot. Particularly the judge. The Bucky recently got
Yeah.
a nerf, which kind of makes it, even to me personally, more useless than ever have been, but
Yeah.
the judge is still in a broken place.
Yeah, I definitely think the judge. I definitely think that the Riot has a way to go, ways to go before the judge is in a spot that it can be classified as balanced.
Yeah, oh for sure. So another question for you here, Frost. What are the agents that you like to play? What are your mains?
My main agents at the moment are Jet, Phoenix, Raze, and Breach, with a little bit of Sky kind of uh, sprinkled in there. I've been playing Jet and Raze ever since beta, and those were my two absolute favorite characters to play. The aggression that you can get out of them with the and with combining that with a precise gunplay that I've gained over years of playing CS:GO and now Valorant. It fits my play style really well, and they're my absolute favorite characters to play at the moment.
Yeah, me and a little bit of context for the viewers here. Me and Frost actually met in the beta. Uh, long time now, over a year we've known each other now,
Yeah,
which is
long time.
insane. And seeing you progress as a player has been crazy. You used to play race so much, and then even when you're listing the roster, some of the players you play now, you've really branched out, and then even the ones that you have been using since day one, you've progressed mechanically, which is very nice to see. Now, a question I have for you: what events or tournaments or goals you would like to see the team be participating in the upcoming future?
In the near future, I would love for our team to be participating in the Valorant Masters tournament after the Open qualifiers coming up in June. June and July, I believe, is when the next set is, and I would love for us to progress through that and make it to the Masters tournament, and hopefully even get through that and secure ourselves a spot in the Champions tournament, which is a LAN tournament, I believe, in Iceland. And I would absolutely love for us to be able to make it to that level as a team, and just as players individually. I think it would really it would boost everyone's morale and see that this isn't a dream. This is a reality.
Something tangible and something that's not
Exactly.
that far away. couldn't
Exactly.
Again, couldn't agree with you more. I look at some of the players we have on this team, what the roster's looking like, and I'm just nothing but hopeful. We'll have more interviews coming up with some other players that I think will be super interesting to talk to. But do you have any advice for our players, our fans, anything like that, competitors that you can give to maybe help them keep on moving, or to progress in the ranks, whether that's just in the basic competitive scene or whether actually going into esports? Can you give any advice to them for the future?
My advice to anybody who wants to improve as a player and just continually see improvement in themselves is have a consistent schedule that you play to, whether that be with a team or whether that just be by yourself doing some sort of aim training or playing in ranked. Have some sort of consistency to your schedule. And if you are getting frustrated, take a break. Don't feel like you have to keep on grinding that exact time. There's so much time for you to become a player and to get to the point where you want to be. It doesn't have to be tomorrow that you become the best player in NA. There's so much time and you have so much opportunities to become who you want to be, that it doesn't have to be as fast as you want.
Exactly. I think it comes down to patience and perseverance. How
Yeah.
hard do you want it, and how much time and energy and love and loss and victories can you put in to achieve that goal? And patience is one of them. It will continuously test you over and over again, and you just have to come out the victor. You know. But
Yeah, absolutely.
where can people find out more about you? Any socials that you'd like to give out for us today for the viewers?
If you want to hear more about me, you can go follow my Twitter at FrostbyteVal, or even my Twitch, which is also at FrostbyteVal. I think pretty much all my socials are under the same name, aside from YouTube. You can find me just as Frostbite,
Perfect. You guys got it right there. And one last question for you, Frost.
of course.
And this is gonna be a fun one.
All right.
Who out of the entire team of Crossfire gives you your run for your money? Who would
I
you say
think
that puts you to the test physically and
I
mentally every time?
I think every time we play, I think I have to give it to Zromph for giving me a run for my money every time we play. He is one of the most mechanically skilled players when it comes to aim or movement. He beats he hits it out of the park every time, and he always gives me some sort of challenge and somebody to try to have some sort of competition with every time.
Exactly. I think you guys have a great chemistry, and there's always a challenge, always trying to one up each other, which is always fun. Well, you guys heard it here first from Frostbyte, the owner and player for Crossfire's Valorant team. Next episode, we will have our guest Romp on here going over, asking some questions. Thank you so much, Frost, for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you guys in the future of Crossfire, because the future is Crossfire. And we will see you in the next video. Take it easy.